Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's energy update. My name is Rebecca Meisel. Welcome. This is when I tune into the energies of the week ahead and channel any sort of important messages that are special for us as the collective to know from my guides to you. So today we have quite an interesting reading. We've got lots of different themes that have come through. A lot of different energies, to be honest. So we're still a little bit in that tail end of Mercury retrograde. So don't be surprised, especially before this new moon coming forward this week. Some shakeup happens, some emotions happen, some purging happens, and we're definitely seeing this reflect in the themes. So what's really coming forward first is keeping the door open to peace. So this was quite an interesting theme that really wanted to come forward right straight away. And so we might have some anger coming up this week. We might have some conflict. We might have some frustrations. And we might even see that externally around us. We might see disruptive behaviors. We might see people just being more on edge this week. And it's really important and imperative that we allow ourselves to keep grounded and to stay centered within ourselves and do as much as we can as possible to stay in our bubble, in our bubble of bliss. And they're also bringing this forward with this internal struggle. So a lot of us might have some internal battles this week, some big emotions, purging, a lot of purging coming through. And it's really helping us let go of the past. And anywhere we've had conflict, anywhere we've had anger or past trauma, we are deeply releasing this from the physical as well. So I'm really seeing this correlation between the emotional and the physical body, which we all know now, and we're really getting this awareness is everything is connected. So don't be surprised this week if things start coming through physically as well. If you start purging physically, if you start having some aches or pains or little things that disrupt your normal health, because I'm really hearing it's purging even through the physical this week. And it's a very strong, powerful energy to help us really push through this final stage of let's let go before we welcome in the new. And this is so imperative as we start approaching this new moon that's coming in, to help us really surrender, to help us really dig deep and really get this illumination around what is standing in our way. Is there any lingering pieces? Is there any lingering emotion or trauma that we haven't fully worked through and accepted or healed? So don't be surprised if deep-rooted stuff comes to the surface and they're just showing me like a broken heart. They're showing me a really broken heart. So we might be feeling a lot in the heart chakra this week as well. So really pay attention to that. Where am I still hurt? Anger is very indicative of hurt and pain. So when we have that flash of anger, recognize, where am I hurting? And really move through that anger. I actually just did a whole podcast about that I'll be posting this week. So if this is something you're feeling, this theme you're feeling, then definitely check out my podcast, The Spiritualist. And it's removing shame around anger. I'm talking a lot about that because it's really rising up right now. So we have this huge theme of keeping the door open to peace. So how can we move through this tumultuous time? If we're going through that, if we're really feeling those waves, how can we still keep our peace? How can we still root ourselves in that foundation? And they're really bringing forward now, it's like, enough. You know that this is important. You know that it's important for you to maintain your peace, to see that big picture and allow your mind to open, and keeping that door open to goodness while you are navigating challenge. And they're really bringing this awareness the past week all about our challenges and how we can start shifting our perspectives around being victim to them, right? Recognizing, no, this is something I'm learning. This is a lesson. This is necessary for me, right? And this is necessary for me to move through, to release, so I can get to this higher state of being. And I don't even mean higher state. It's more like a different state where I'm no longer in that vibration of hurt, right? And so it's really this blessing that's coming in, and they're really encouraging us, keep your peace. Keep that door open to goodness. And if you are in a conflict at the moment, how can you come back to your foundation, your truest soul self, and go, okay, what can I do in this situation? What can I do in this scenario to maintain the person that I really want to be? How can I maintain that foundation of love? How can I create space and openness for that? So keeping that door open, and a lot of this inner peace that's happening. So I'm seeing a lot of us are needing to have some stillness. We're needing to have some quiet time where we can really go in and just be for a while. You know, they're even mentioning like our first inclination might be we want to go in and fix things, right? We might be like, oh, great, now I got to go in and do all this inner work. And we might kind of view it as a job. You know, sometimes we view our healing journey as a job, like we need to fix it or we need to go in right away and approach with that masculine energy. And they're really, really saying, no, 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 do not approach your healing from the masculine this week. We're really being called to lean into our goddess energy, our divine feminine energy, and flow with it. So if emotions arise, if waves come in, take it as it comes. Do what you can in the moment. And that's what I'm really hearing is we need to allow ourselves the gift of presence, and the gift of being this week is so, so crucial, because there's going to be a lot of external chaos. You know, it's going to be in the collective as well, because so many people are going to just be in that energy of frustration, of anger, of confusion, of sadness. We might pick up on those themes if we are especially energetically sensitive. So be careful of not taking on those energies yourself. If it's not yours, leave it be, right? So really put on your protections this week. Be very mindful. Move through this week as that observer energy, and give yourself that gift of being this week. It's so, so crucial. Being present, okay? So we have surrendering to spirit your worries and letting your worries blow away with the wind. So I love this because we're really learning how to do that. When things are challenging, when things are overwhelming, when we don't know what to do, that's our signal to not just sit in that energy and be like, oh my God, I don't know what to do, and let that take over your day. Let that take over you and your emotions. And they're really saying practice self-control this week. So when you're in that state of confusion or frustration and unknown, and in that fear base, they're like, really take that as a moment to go, okay, I don't want to be in this energy anymore. This is my moment where I need to surrender. This is the moment where I need to call in help. I need to call in support, or I need to shift this energy. And so they're really saying be proactive this week. If things come up and you're overwhelmed, you're fragmented, you're ungrounded, take those steps you need to take to come back to yourself. So I'm really hearing we need to surrender. We need to practice surrendering. And it's not always something that comes easy to us, especially if we're in our masculine energy a lot. It's so important that we start learning to trust the feminine and go, okay, I can let this problem be. I don't need to constantly try to fix it right now. In this exact moment, I need to just let go and let it flow. Let the world, let the universe show me the way forward in the right time. So we're really being called to trust divine timing right now and really come to that bigger picture. We're in Mercury retrograde right now. There's going to be chaos. There's going to be those energies. So really be mindful of not making split decisions out of fear or jumping to conclusions and outcomes that are based in that fear. So I'm really hearing surrender and how we can do that. So one of the big things that's coming up is nature. You know, go for a walk, get yourself out of your regular element, get yourself out of that space and energy when you are in that overwhelm and fear. You know, surrendering can be so much easier when we are in nature because it gives us the gift of presence. It gives us healing energies. It surrounds us in this energy of peace and tranquility where it's like there's nothing but you in nature. It's okay to be for right now. So nature is going to be super healing for us this week. I'm also hearing writing. Write out explicitly what you're afraid of. Write out explicitly how you are feeling. Okay, this is something we need to practice and get better at, is really identifying those core fears And we tend to not do that because when we get triggered, we're just in it. We're just like, oh my God, I'm so scared, right? We get that fear and we have a hard time coming down from that. And then we ignore going back into it because we're afraid of being triggered again. But guess what? We're going to get triggered again the next time it comes up because it's part of our learning, right? Triggers are there for a purpose. There are alarm bells for healing. So if we don't go back in and really start removing the fear, then it's just going to repeat until we do. So I'm hearing it's crucial. We need to go into our deep fear this week. We need to uncover, what is this trying to show me? What healing needs to happen? Where do I need to remove my fear? So they're showing a lot of us doing deep introspection through that. So journaling it out. And they're like, you're going to be surprised at what starts coming to the surface when you start writing. Because when we do that, we allow it. It starts coming through the moment we set that intention, that we put pen to paper. Okay, I'm going to go through this. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. And it helps us feel more empowered. So they're saying that's very crucial this week. Really expand on your fears. Why are you being triggered by this? What is the core wound that's coming up for healing? And really start identifying those areas instead of sitting in the unknown, right? Because we can do something about that. So what can we do? Well, let's do this introspective work. So allow yourself to do that in balance. So once again, when the timing is right, do not force this week. Do not lead with that masculine as much as you might want to. So what literally channeled was just be for a little while. Netflix and chill. Focus on the present moment instead of what you feel you need to fix. Notice obsessive behaviors, this need to be safe, but also where you're in a state of self-illusion. So this is really interesting. So we need to give ourselves the space and we need to start noticing where we are being almost hypervigilant. We're being obsessive about control. And they're really bringing in this need to surrender once again. We need to let go of the need to control everything, okay? And this happens to a lot of us, especially if we've grown up in homes where we needed to be very on, or we needed to be a certain way or tiptoe around certain individuals. It's like we naturally start getting this awareness. How can I plan everything to keep myself safe? And we tend to carry this through adulthood. So wherever this is sourced for you, really go into that this week. Where am I trying to just keep myself safe? And where do I need to recognize that I am safe always? That I'm the adult now and I no longer need to be planning my life in such a way that keeps me in a state of fear. Because when we think about it, when we're at peace with ourselves, when we are safe, those are very hand in hand. When we're at peace, we feel safe. We need to feel safe to be at peace, right? But if we're constantly in a state of worry, of panic, of planning every detail so we don't make a mistake, so we don't get hurt, we're living in fear, literally. And so they're really bringing this awareness to the nervous system and where we might need to have some regulation there, where we might need to start working with the body. And they're showing me the breath being incredibly important this week. So work with your breath, work with yourself, work with your nervous system. Keep affirming you are safe. Okay, this is so important. So notice those addictions to worrying, those obsessive behaviors. And they're also showing me like this addiction to even shopping where it's like, notice how you might have this addiction to like run out and get a quick fix, because when we shop, as an example, it boosts our mood. We have something new, we have something pretty, we feel better, right? So where are we trying to avoid our problems by these coping mechanisms, these quick fixes, maybe food, right? Different things like that. So notice these behaviors this week and really allow yourself to become aware of them and work through them and go, no, I'm the adult now It's okay. We're okay. We are safe. And taking those actions each day that put you in that state of safety. So taking a bath, cooking, being involved in the present moment, once again, is going to be so helpful in this. So the next side of that was notice where you're also in a state of self-illusion. So the example here was ignorance is bliss. So we might notice this coming up this week as well. Where are we wanting to stay ignorant of our problems, ignorant of behaviors or things that are going on? So what channeled was release compulsive behaviors, notice methods of self-shame and punishment. Think long-term. How can I live a blessed life? Be in your power and don't give it away. Sit in silence and release the need to stress over things you can't control. So much around really having awareness this week. So once again, if we start jumping to compulsive behaviors, where are we self-sabotaging, right? So when we avoid, when we are trying to be ignorant of things going on, problems that we know are there, but we just don't want to go into, we are in essence sabotaging living our best life, because we know once we go into those problems, once we go into those things, we can really be illuminated to where we need to course correct so the problem just doesn't keep getting larger and bigger. So it's like, how am I sabotaging, and where am I actually going into self-shame and punishment? So where am I ashamed of not having this issue or having this issue that's prevalent right now? Where am I ashamed of myself? Where am I punishing myself staying in this state, right? So they're giving me the example of our bank account, right? So maybe we're in debt right now. Maybe we're struggling financially and we're like, I know, and I just don't even want to look at it. I don't even want to go into that. I don't want to see the numbers. I'm scared. And we avoid it, right? But that's not helping anything. It's not fixing the problem. It's just keeping us in this constant state of fear. And once again, it's giving our power away to that. So if we start actually going in and going, okay, what can I do? What can be done? We once again put ourselves in a state of empowerment because we're doing something about it. We're aware of the problem and we're taking the adult stance by doing something about it. So really notice, where are you wanting to stay ignorant? Where are you perhaps ashamed of yourself? Money can be a big source of that. A lot of times we have this very fixed societal view that we need to be debt-free, we need to look like this, we need to have the fancy things. We have so many standards around that. So where are you ashamed of your finances, or where are you ashamed of your relationship status? Whatever that is for you, go into that. What would it take for me to remove the shame? And what would it take for me to now come back into my power and make the course corrections necessary so I can really live a blessed and empowered life? Because we know long term, if we start working on our finances as an example now, well then we're going to be in a better state. We're going to be in a better position down the road. And that is what is most loving for us. So how can we make that plan? And what was really coming through next was like, allow yourself then, after you've made that course correction, or you've made your plan, or you've really looked at what you've been avoiding, release the need to stress over it. Release the need to control everything. So once again, we're really learning how to let go of these behaviors that are unhealthy for us by not sitting and lingering in fear, by not sitting and lingering in these energies that are not good for us and really make no difference. When we worry, it only brings ourselves down. It only puts us in a state of fear and victimhood where we cannot be in power. So I'm really hearing we need to really start shifting through this and changing that vibration of fear. And once again, become your own best friend with this. If you're sitting in that, if you're super triggered, okay, what would I do if this was my best friend in this scenario? Wouldn't I not just take her hand and be like, okay, let's go, let's change this energy. What can we do? Let's not get downhearted. Let's do this. It's okay. I've got your back. That is how we need to start showing up for ourselves in everyday life. So I'm really hearing release the need to really sit in that, and shift the energy where needed. Okay, so what came through? How can you take empowered action over letting fear be the base and your motivation for life? Okay, so how can we shift this? Are our fears dictating our decisions, or are we coming from a place of power? Decide on what you truly want and make a detailed plan. Speak it clearly to the universe and watch and see. So this was beautiful, this next theme of really coming into our true desires and what truly is going to keep us happy and in a state of authenticity. So what was really coming through is we need to decide, we need to get clear this week. And with all the energies and all the emotions coming through, it's clearing to help us get a better perspective. It's clearing the path. They're just showing me like a path that was all cluttered, too many things going on, and then it just clearing. And then it's like, oh, there's the path. I just needed to follow my feet, right? So they're really saying this week it's important for us to do this inner work, remove those fears, and as we start doing that, the clearer the picture will become of what we truly want in life, what we really need life to look like, and start creating that with our day-to-day experience. So make a list. What is it you truly desire in your life? What is that root desire, that core desire that you have for your life, that core dream? And recognizing those dreams and those wishes have been planted in you for a reason. Everything about our earthly existence is intentional. So that includes our fears, our lessons, right? All of those are lessons. Those have been placed before us for a reason, right? We can choose to go through them or not. That's up to us in this incarnation. We have that free will. But what really keeps coming through here is the same with our desires. Once again, those desires have been placed before us, have been placed within us to seek out, to move further into. And it is up to us to see them through. It is up to us to believe in ourselves and recognize, hey, this is what I need. This is what I need to be in, is this state of authenticity, of bliss. That's what I'm in, is that vibration when I do what lights me up, right? So really get clear and make a plan to make it happen this week. What are your dreams? How can you make it happen? What would it look like? And I'm just hearing like, no settling. What would it look like if you didn't settle at all? What would that plan of action be? And take a look at where you might be settling. So they're showing me numerous opportunities that are coming in. Like they're showing me these different levels. And some of them you might be like, oh my God, I just need to take what I can get, right? And you kind of settle a little bit. You're like, because it's still a good opportunity, right? But where are you settling? Is that really the way you want to go? Or are you going to go big? Are you going to show the universe, hey, I'm not going to settle at all. I'm not going to compromise at all. This is what I want. This is my dream. So they're really going into where we might be settling and where we might be eager to settle because it's the first thing that comes our way. So they're giving me this example of somebody getting a job offer and you'll be like, oh my gosh, great, I'm going to go for it. But it might be a bit of a compromise when you start looking into the details. You're like, oh, maybe that isn't exactly what I wanted. It'd be better for me if it looked like this. So they're like, counter that offer. Don't settle just for the first offer that comes your way because it's somewhat in alignment. They're like, no, make it yours. This is going to be your dream. This is going to be your life. This is going to be your day-to-day. So they're really saying it's important to lean into those possibilities and really allow yourself to stand up for yourself where needed and go, actually, no, I would like to counter this, and this is kind of what would work best for me. Because once again, when we're in our power, we're no longer catering to everything else and everyone else, even if the external circumstances say otherwise. So they're like, really allow yourself to see this as sometimes a test of our power, where we truly our best advocate for self. And are we going to show up that way and go, no more compromising? Okay, so really be mindful of that. So next theme, cutting threads. what is ready for deep release? Sorrow and pain of the goodbye as we let go of what was and step into new realities. So this was so interesting because threads, most of the time we hear cords, cutting energetic cords that are tethered to us, to individuals, to things, to events. And these are energetic cords that keep us connected to those energies of the past. So what I keep hearing is this week, we're getting illumination around even just the little threads, the little tethers of energy that are connecting us still to certain events or traumas or issues. And so they're like, it might be a bunch of random little things that come up this week. It might be just these little threads where you're like, ooh, okay, I'm still hurting over that. That still hurts me. That still makes me upset. That still makes me angry. And they're just showing me like little light bulb moments where you're like, oh, that emotion's still there. Oh, I'm actually really heated about that. Oh, like we're getting these little awarenesses around these threads that we're still connected to and we have to cut. So I'm hearing this week it's important we go into what cords or threads are still attached to us from our past, from our former realities, and coming to that awareness that is no longer our reality anymore. We are shifting and creating a brand new reality for ourselves in this moment. So what do we need to let go? What is no longer, right? What is no longer? And how can we embrace what is and what we want to now be? So I'm hearing call on Archangel Michael this week to help you illuminate those threads, those cords. If that comes up for you, might be a cord that you need to cut. So they're really showing in our relationships this week, those unhealthy, toxic dynamics, those things that are still hurting us. We need to let it go. So whenever you have an awareness of hurt, they're like, that's an indication of like, okay, I'm still attached to this story. I'm still attached to this story that's playing out or did play out, right? So wherever that hurt is, there very well could be a cord or a thread connecting you to it, right? That energy. So how can I let it go? So feel your pain, feel your sorrow, and we might really get that because it's almost like this goodbye, this grieving of our former selves, our past experiences that's really coming through here. So we might have moments of pain. We might have moments of deep sorrow, of heartbreak. And we need to lean into that and accept that and let that purging happen, because if we don't, we're just going to keep holding on. So I'm hearing empty out your heart. Empty out your heart. Pour out your heart. All those things that have hurt you, pour them out. Let them be seen. Look through them. Take a look. Go, what's there? What still hurts? What's still in my chest that I'm carrying around with me? How can I let it go? Because the moment I let go, I'm creating space. I'm creating space for new. I'm creating space for what is healthy for me, for what actually deserves me. So I'm really hearing we need to go through that this week and recognize we are stepping into a completely new reality. And we can do this once again through embracing the divine feminine. So do not force this. If the moment comes, embrace it in that moment, right? Things are going to just happen on their own accord, just as they need to be. Okay, so once again, they're really clarifying the need to be present and to let go. So what I literally heard was sip a cup of tea, let what will be, be. Almost sounds like a song or a poem, so cute. So watch clouds, let new answers take shape and be found. All will be revealed in good time. Step out of the in-between. Think bigger and allow the gift of your life to unfold. So I'm really hearing it's important that once again we let go and let things happen. So what channeled is, if nothing is calling, then listen. Maybe you're meant to just be for now. Honor the gift of presence. Focus on small daily tasks and changes. And they showed me someone just doing the dishes, cooking a meal, gathering with friends. Being present this week is so huge. So focus on those little day-to-day tasks. If things become unbearable, if things seem overwhelming, don't focus on what you don't know, what's not there, what's not working, what's frustrating you. What can you focus on? What can you do? What small step can you take today? And let yourself surrender. So from there, it's super important that we have support this week. So gathering support around you. You are not an inconvenience. You matter too. Believe in yourself. Be at peace. You are loved and adored. Trust the realities of your life. Not all is as it seems. And they were showing me these glasses. So they're showing me this pair of old, worn, scratched glasses and us trying to look through that. And then they said, put on the glasses of love and truth and watch as your perspective changes. So then they were showing me this person removing the old pair and putting on a completely new pair of glasses. And these were the glasses of love. These were the glasses that help us have a clearer perspective. So I was really hearing we need to allow ourselves to do that this week. How can I take off the old glasses, the old view, the old way of how I was viewing things, seeing things, perceiving things, experiencing things, and upgrade? How can I start shifting? How can I start putting on this new perspective, these new lenses of love? And I'm hearing it's going to make such a dramatic impact. And we're going to start realizing the support that's actually available to us, that's around us, the people, the friendships, the beauty that's there. So I was really hearing a lot of us, it's like we're in disbelief. We're in that illusion once again, where it's like we're stuck in that viewpoint that I'm alone. I don't have friends. I don't have support available. And that's not true anymore. And I'm really hearing that was the old perspective. Maybe that was true in the past, but it's not anymore. That's not your reality. So I love how they said, be at peace. You are loved. You are adored. Trust the realities of your life. So not what was former reality, what your reality is now. Okay, so I'm hearing we are starting to see that we are worthy of support, that we are worthy of good people in our lives, and we need to just open our eyes to that. Who is in your corner? Who can you call on for support and love right now? Recognize you deserve this. Recognize you matter too, my friends. So with that being said, if I can support you, if I can help you through this transitional time, if I can support you in any way through sessions or through an intuitive chat, through any of those things, know I am available to you. So please connect with me if this calls. I will have my website down below where you can book a session, anything that feels good for you at this time. And know you were never alone. Know that the universe always loves you, my friends, even through these challenges, even when we feel weak or in fear. It's okay. The universe has got your back. It wants only what is best for you. So really know that truth this week and let that land in your heart. You are so loved. You are so worthy. And the universe is showing up for you. So, my friends, that's all I have for this week's reading. I really hope that these words can comfort you and these channeled messages can really speak to your heart this week and really just drive home that point that you're never alone. So I'm sending you all my love and wishing you all a beautiful and blessed week ahead, my friends. Bye.